this contract, which is really exciting for us because it really places us at the center of sport and physical activity in England, not just with the Sport England, but all the way down to facility operators and everything in between, local authorities, chains, etc.
Hello, you're watching Proactive. Joining me is 4Global CEO Eloy Mazon. Eloy, very good to speak with you. Can you tell us how this expanded agreement with Sport England builds on the original contract? What are the key differences between their initial goals and how you supported them then versus their current objectives and the role you'll play going forward?
Yes, well, first of all, thanks for having me here today. As you know, Sport England is the body in the UK that looks after sports participation within the home country of England. And their role is to invest to drive participation in sport. And this is a long-term relationship that we've built with Sport England over the years, which is very similar to a lot of relationships which we build with our customers based on a value exchange where we add a lot of value to them and obviously we benefit commercially. And the problem that we solve for Sport England, which is very common amongst bodies like them around the world, is very much around they've got a significant amount to invest to drive participation and sport at the grassroots level in both infrastructure and programs. In the case of Sport England, it's about 250 million. And in order to do that effectively, they need a high degree of certainty as to where they're going to invest it, how they're going to invest it, and what outcomes they're going to materialize from that investment. And that's what our platform and our data provides them. And that's why on the first part of this contract, which was for the last 4 years, I mean, the outcomes they've achieved were significant. Apple 30% increase in participation in England, which is a huge amount. And we like to think we play a very significant part in achieving those outcomes. But in this second part of the contract, Sport England is very focused to expand our relationships with them and not just looking at participation that is taking place in facilities. So that could be a gym or it could be a football pitch or a paddle court. They want to look at sport participation that takes place outside facilities, like, for example, cycling tracks or running tracks or anything else that is not necessarily based on a facility. And that's where our recently launched Insight OS will play an absolute vital part on this, because it brings together even more data sets to create more detailed insights. For example, we're now factoring in things like moving data, which when combined with our activity places data, we can really use to predict physical activity. So that's what this second part of the contract really focuses on, is moving away from facilities and really looking at activity as a whole in the home nation, which has never been done before. So we're really, really excited. We really look forward to working with the Sport England, and hopefully, 30% will be a small target in terms of increased participation that we'll achieve.
Eloy, you say in the announcement you'll be providing insight to the wider ecosystem of sport and physical activity in England. What does this mean, and why should investors be excited by this?
Yeah, and this is a really good point about this contract, which is really exciting for us because it really places us at the center of sport and physical activity in England, not just with the Sport England, but all the way down to facility operators and everything in between, local authorities, chains, etc. Now, that what allows us is to build really good relationships with the different stakeholders in that value chain, not just to provide the Sport England with the insight from them, but also to build commercial relationships with them in a much more efficient, effective way, at the same time that we add value to them. So we really place at the center of investment in England on sport infrastructure and sport programs. And I think this really talks to the richness and depth of the data and the insights that we can generate for this industry and in the UK. And it's also something that is very much needed elsewhere. So it's very exportable as well.
Finally, how important is this deal from a strategic perspective? Is it a sign of things to come?
Well, absolutely. I think, as you know from previous interviews, we've very much been transitioning over the last year certainly last financial year, transitioning from one market to really focus more on the North American and European market, but also transitioning to a very ARR type revenue model. And this type of contracts really provides us with that forward visibility, that repeatability that hits directly our EBITDA and our growth focus. Because very much the focus for us going forward is to really grow EBITDA, because that provides us with that free cash flow that we can invest in growth, but also provides that financial stability, which is very important in the current climate. So I think very much this type of contract is what we're looking at, multi-year, multi-million type contract. But understandably, we will be balancing with other smaller contracts, but it's certainly the type of model that we're going forward. Our focus to build value for shareholders is growing our EBITDA, which will provide us that free cash flow going forward, investing in growth and that financial stability.
Eloy, I hope you'll keep us posted on any progress with that. Thank you very much for speaking with us today.
Thank you.
Eloy Mazon, the CEO of 4Global.